most financial circles, honesty is an elusive animal. What's far more common is greed, insider manipulations, dubious ethics, and all manner of corporate malfeasance. You might assume that only Wall Street bankers such as Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and JP Morgan are powerful enough to manipulate the markets. But the reality is, history is littered with cases where a small group of traders, or even individual traders, managed to rock the oil markets. In order for this to be true, however, the conditions must be just right, with everything coming together at the right time and in the right order. But it's possible. Here are some of the most memorable energy-related trades that took the market by surprise. First on our list is a remarkable short sale of S&P E-minis that seemed to have remarkably good timing. Around 3:50 p.m. New York time on September 11, 2019, a person or persons unknown shorted 120,000 S&P E-minis. It wasn't a trade in oil stocks, but the short sale capitalized on the oil markets when just hours after the trade, Saudi Aramco's oil infrastructure was attacked by drones that choked off nearly half of Saudi Arabia's oil exports. The attack sent oil prices soaring and the S&P index falling, netting the trader, whoever they were, $180 million. This is the same type of activity that took place just prior to September 11, 2001, when Al-Qaeda cashed in before launching their attacks. On the other side of Lady Luck, there are well-documented cases of foolhardy traders who lost their shirts after pushing the envelope too far out of sheer greed. Case in point number 2, Einar Oz, formerly one of Norway's wealthiest men. Emphasis on the formerly. In 2018, Oz made some overly ambitious energy plays, and he lost everything. The third example is a trade gone 320 million kinds of wrong. In September 2019, a Singapore subsidiary of Mitsubishi Corporation booked a $320 million loss stemming from what it called a rogue trader who manipulated the firm's risk management system. He placed major derivative bets on the price of oil, disguising them as hedges. But the trouble for Mitsubishi started well before September. The rogue trader had apparently been engaged in these trades since January, but it had went undetected for months. Mitsubishi wouldn't uncover the trades until August, when oil prices fell. The company immediately unwound the trades, sealing in millions of losses. To add insult to Mitsubishi's injury, just days later, the price of oil shot up by 20%. Number 4 on our list is a prime example of the horrors that could ensue while trading and drinking. Back in 1992, oil trader Steve Perkins went on a golfing retreat over the weekend, fully funded by his employer PVM Oil Futures. Come Monday morning, Perkins returned home and decided to extend his bender. While he was tying another one on, he decided to make some trades. A lot of trades. Now, oil brokers are only supposed to make trades on behalf of their clients, but Perkins decided to trade on his own behalf. With his employer's funds, he purchased 7.13 million barrels of Brent crude over an ugly 19-hour period for a cost of $520 million. For perspective, his trades accounted for nearly 70% of the total Brent volume traded on that day. The sheer volume of his trades literally moved the entire oil market, and oil prices rose to $73 per barrel, from $71. Not bad. Then prices sagged, costing PVM Oil Futures $9.7 million. Meanwhile, Perkins claims not to remember anything about that fateful night. Perkins was forced to pay a £72,000 fine and was banned from participating in any regulated market activity. Number 5 is a $9 million loss for a 30-year-old day trader in Toronto. On April 20, 2020, Syed Shah strayed from his comfort zone of selling stocks and currencies through his Interactive Brokers account. He thought he'd gamble on oil trading instead. First, he threw $2,400 into crude oil at $3.30 a barrel. Sounds great, right? Then he bought more at 50 cents per barrel. It just kept getting better. He ended up buying 212 WTI crude future contracts for 1 penny each. He didn't know, nor did many others, that oil could go negative. In fact, when he tried to put an order in for a negative price, Interactive Brokers wouldn't allow it. So when he scooped up those crude futures for a penny, his trading spree would turn into a Hall of Fame worst ever oil buy. Interactive Brokers actually knew that oil prices could go negative, but they only had a few days' warning to change their systems to accommodate this, and that never happened. What happened instead was that while Shah was buying up crude at a penny, it was actually already trading at negative $3.70 per barrel and went all the way to negative $37, leaving Shah with a $9 million bill to Interactive Brokers. When you start the day with $77,000 in your account and end it with negative $9 million, it's one of the biggest lessons in margin trading there is. You can lose far more than 100%. There was a flip side to this negative oil, though. While Syed Shah was losing big, a group of independent traders at home in Essex hit the jackpot when they bet the other way. They raked in $660 million when oil futures briefly went as low as negative $37 per barrel. Did they anticipate, or did they manipulate? That was a question that concerned regulators. But the fact is, in April, the COVID lockdown sent oil demand into a major slump, and oil traders were all but paying people to take oil contracts off their hands. For anyone with exquisite timing, it could have been as much as a windfall as it was for the Essex boys, who were already privy to the warnings of negative oil prices earlier in April.